in a sub-health state, see it as a turning point from which you can either return to optimal health or else degenerate into bad health. Hello, this is Sonal Singhal, your host of the Thrive in Perimenopause Summit. Welcome and congratulations for attending the Thrive in Perimenopause Summit, as you are turning in the right direction for your holistic well-being. Learning Chinese medicine is like going from simple drawings to fine paintings. The whole is always present. The yin and yang can only be refined, never abandoned. This is why I decided to invite Dr. Juli Kramer, who is an expert in Chinese medicine, on our summit. Dr. Kramer is a certified qigong instructor and a diploma holder in Chinese Medicine Nutritional Therapy. Her passion is to teach people the important role played by exercise and nutrition in developing a healthy body and mind. She's also have a Ph.D. in curriculum and counseling psychology. So let's welcome Dr. Juli, and she's coming up with a beautiful presentation for us on perimenopause and anti-aging with TCM.
Great. Thank you so much, Sonal. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. And yes, welcome to everyone who's here. You're doing the right thing. You're taking steps towards understanding your body and your health. And I'm so excited to be here to share some more information with you. I just want to share a story of how perimenopause is relevant for my own journey. I was in my mid-30s and having really horrible menstrual cycles, very heavy clotting, irregular. I would have some month and then none. And then I reached a point where I had a phase where I wouldn't stop bleeding. I had gone, for 30 days. And I went to my gynecologist, and I'm going to be blunt with the ladies here because it's a really crazy situation. She said to me, "Oh, let's just microwave your uterus so you stop bleeding." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "My body is trying to tell me something. There is something not right here." And so I did research, and because I'm a researcher, that's what I do. And I found Chinese medicine as the best solution for my problem. It was going to look at how my body worked, what was the root cause of the problem, instead of just microwaving my uterus to take care of the symptom. I was like, what? I couldn't process it. So I'm sure many of your people are having these problems, right? They're seeing a symptom, they're seeing a problem. And the Western doctor is just saying, take out your uterus. I know so many women that are having full hysterectomies, and I literally cry. My heart weeps. I just, this filled with such deep sorrow that your body, every part of your body is so essential. Your internal organs, especially in your reproductive organs, they're tied to your kidneys, which is what keeps you alive and youthful. So if you take out your reproductive system, you don't have a huge part of what's going to keep you strong and healthy. Well, needless to say, I went to acupuncture. 5 days later, my bleeding stopped. No problem whatsoever. My periods were balanced until I went through menopause. I went through menopause early at 48. I'm now almost 58. And that's just a genetic thing. That was just a very normal thing for me. And I never had another problem. Now, hot flashes have been a problem, but that's related. That's a whole other part of the topic that we can talk about. I get them pretty well under control unless my stress gets out of order.
So, Dr. Kramer, you are the first expert, I'm interviewing on TCM in this summit. So, I mean, after that, I believe that after your experience, you decided to go for learning Chinese medicine.
Yes.
So, can you give us a little bit background of the Chinese medicine to our audience and how it is different from the conventional medicine?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about that in my presentation a little bit as it relates to perimenopause, but I'll give you a real first brief overview. In Chinese medicine, they look at the body as a whole. Nothing is separate. So you wouldn't just go for a blood test or a urine sample or whatever. They're not just going to say your gallbladder is a problem. They're going to look at everything as one system. Your kidney affects your heart, affects your lungs, everything is tied together. Your emotions are not separate from your body, right? We go just deal with our emotions separately. They are together. So if you're stressed, it affects your body. If your body is weak, it affects your stress, and so on. So in fact, the emotions, the 7 emotions, harm the body more than almost anything else you do if you don't keep those balanced and calm and in control. So that's the main difference, I would say. The very subtle element of this is that this is all tied to nature. We're very connected to the earth, connected to the natural world, and the flow, the ebbs and flow of the day, of the seasons. And that's important for the presentation I'm going to do, the seasons and the lifespan. So we really need to look at what we call yin and yang. Yin is our cooling, our feminine, our fluids. So if you look at your blood, your plasma, your saliva, your sweat, all of that is yin energy. And then we have yang energy, which is movement, our thinking, our muscles moving, our action that we take, our warming. So think about on Earth, if we had sunlight all the time, we'd never be able to grow. Everything would be evaporated, it would die. So we need day and night. We need moisture, we need dry. And so it's all about, Chinese medicine is all about always having a balance between this yin and yang. And you learn, and we'll talk again in the presentation, when you're out of balance with this yin and yang, too much yin, too much fluid, stagnation, phlegm, and not enough of this dry, warm, or too much of the warm and not enough cool. Whenever you're out of balance, your body gets a sub-health state. And the goal is to remove that sub-health state so you can be emotionally and physically happy. And so it's really not about, we don't want to just add medicines or take out body parts. It's all about your body can heal. And if we do an herb, for example, whereas a medicine will replace the body making what it needs, right? It just says, here, use this instead of your body making it. An herb will come in, go to the lung, go to the kidneys, go to the heart and say, all right, here's your job. Remember how to do it. This is a little jump start. Like when you have to put a jump start on your car. And so that's the herbal medicine difference. That's another big, big difference. Medicines replace what the body does. Herbs help enhance. And then acupuncture, moxibustion, which is kind of like a burning herbs around the body, and cupping also jumpstart the body to remember how to heal. We get stagnation in our bodies, and this is very important for perimenopause, where there is stagnation in energy or blood, then the body breaks down. We get a sub-health state. And so acupuncture, cupping, moxibustion, massage, qigong, everything in Chinese medicine is designed to clear that stagnation, to let the energy flow. And that's the whole purpose.
So Julie, you mentioned about qigong, and I believe that you practice qigong.
I do. I'm an instructor. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know a little bit about it. Like it involves, doing some slow exercising to optimize energy within the body, mind, and spirit.
Yes.
So could you tell us why it is a preferable way of exercising?
Yes.
And is it for all age groups or not for everybody?
Yeah, such a great question. Qigong is for everybody. Young people, old people. Young people can do other exercises in addition to qigong because their kidney essence, their youthful vitality, their yang energy is higher. Older people want to mostly do qigong or yin yoga and walking, things that are more mellow, because each time you sweat and work your body out too hard, you're using up your life essence stored in your kidneys. So you want to, young people have enough of that still, they can do both. And older people need to watch it. They need to be more careful. So how does it work? First off, qigong moves every joint in your body, from your fingers, your fascia, to your shoulders, your hips. It clears every single lymph lymph drainage point in your body from your neck to your groin. So not just, in another big difference in exercise, West versus East. In the West, what's going on for our muscles and our heart and our circulation. In Chinese medicine, what's going on in qigong, which is part of Chinese medicine, what's going on in our whole body. Every little bit, from the tiny spinal vertebra to the tiny pinky toe to the big, system of all of our organs. And so qigong, you'll notice in a qigong exercise, by the end of it, you have moved every joint in your body. You have moved your neck, you've moved every single part, your torso, and we massage our internal organs. Kundalini yoga also does a great job of massaging the internal organs. We twist a lot of twisting motion, bending motion, folding motion. So the idea is that we clear this stagnation, we let the channels of energy flow and the blood flow so our bodies and our minds will be healthy. So big difference, right, between the two exercises. Gross motor, how do you look? And I did a lot of that. I did triathlons, marathons, biathlons, very hardcore yoga. And I could just see, my body looked a certain way, but I wasn't feeling energized. I was always tired. I was always run down. And then I did qigong, and my body continues to look the same way. But I'm not burned out. I'm not tired. I'm not exhausted. I feel better. I feel lighter. Yet the external observable body is the same. And I'm older, right? So you would think as you get older, you would have a change, and my change is for the better. I definitely have, symptoms of kidney depletion. We get that as we get older, a little bit saggier skin, definitely more wrinkles. And that's okay, because that's just our natural body, as long as I'm eating well and doing that. And that's what you would experience too. So when you do qigong, when you eat right, you help the body age slower. And that's the whole point of the presentation. I'm going to really talk about this anti-aging benefit.
Would you like to demonstrate something about qigong? If you can do while sitting or while standing.
For sure. Let me make sure that you can see me. I might have to move my camera back just a little.
Yeah, we can see.
Actually, let me just come up, because I can show the feet are just going to be, the feet are about hip width apart, right? So I'm going to show you a beautiful move for perimenopause, where we want to calm our mind, calm our heart. And this is called cloudy hands. But before we begin, we always bring our chi centered. We inhale up. This is called pulling down the heavens. We just center our energy. We'll do that one more time. And you guys can join me. Inhale.
I can join you.
Yeah. And exhale down. Okay, good. Let Sonal do that. Good.
Yeah.
All right. And now bring one hand in front of you as if you're hugging your heart. Yeah, beautiful. And the other hand is moving as if it's dipping through a cloud. And we're going to turn to one side. Notice this turning of the waist. And we're going to inhale as we, nice slow inhale through the nose as we turn at the waist, turn toward the arm that's bent, Sonal, turn the other way. So so go into the arm that's bent. I can't see you anymore for some reason.
Okay, it's because of my wallpaper.
Okay, that's okay.
I think let me just watch you much better.
I'll let you edit it. Okay, yeah. And then you exhale, going back the other way. You switch the hands. Inhale, coming one way. Switch, and then exhale. And you'll notice my hands, the fingers are together, the thumbs are spread wide. You'll notice my shoulders are moving and I'm switching, right? So as I rotate, I move and I switch. And you'll notice this turning and rotation, and the standing is pumping energy up my legs. I'm drawing energy through my legs into this lower dantian, and I'm drawing energy in through my head and my breath. I'm moving my lungs, these long inhales and exhales, increase the lung capacity. That's just a very simple one. Why is that good for women with perimenopause? that exercise is for the fire element or the heart, the pericardium and heart. And that's all about our circulation, our blood moving. And so that simple move, cloudy hands, really helps that. But it's also, I'm massaging my small intestine, my large intestine, my kidneys, my bladder, my, all of the livers, kidneys, spleen, and that clears stagnation in them. We get energy from food. And if these systems aren't processing food, removing toxins, drawing the nutrients, we can't create enough blood and the blood will become stagnant. And that's where you get the clotting. That's where you get the periods that don't stop, because that's a spleen deficiency. The vessels can't hold the blood in place. And so digestion is really important for that.
It looked, I mean, whatever you demonstrated, it was, I think, it was very gentle moves and beautiful, and I can feel, I mean, it is so easy to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that, it's like you are dancing, slow dancing.
I love that description. Yeah, it's beautiful. And I do have videos where, like on YouTube, I have a great perimenopause. I have one for menstrual health. I have one for breast health. And it's all related to which organs do we need to nourish and clear stagnation from to have this health. So that's
what's the channel
really
name?
powerful. Radiant Shanti by Dr. Juli Kramer. So yeah,
I'm going to have a look at
you'll have that. Yeah, it's great. And then I'm also on Insight Timer and I have a membership. So lots of ways, free as well as paid. The difference between the free and the paid membership is that the members really get me and they get to talk with me, ask questions. I do a lot more. I have a lot of guest teachers. And so it's just, but I
one-on-one attention you get.
Yeah. But I also, that's why I have my YouTube channel and Insight Timer to give back, because I really want everyone to benefit from this. So, yeah.
So you can start with your presentation now. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
And
great.
if I have question, I will ask you towards that.
Okay. Do definitely. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is really an important part of really looking at prevention and natural healing series. I want to just let you know that you can heal naturally. Your body is this amazing, amazing like entity. You can have everything within you. So this focus here today is perimenopause and anti-aging with traditional Chinese medicine. And we're going to talk about this concept of transition period, where it is natural to move from these different stages in our lives and moving into this later stage of life, starting at around 45, we really slow down, our body slows down. And that's good. We in the West feel like, oh, we have to always be going. And it's like, no, now is your gift, your time for yourself. You've built, you've created, you've raised families. And now through this calm wisdom, you can transition into doing beautiful things, just at a different pace. And we're going to focus on the relationship between, in the Western terms, hormone levels and kind of like this essence. In Chinese medicine, we talk about qi, which it doesn't translate perfectly, but it's energy, blood, and body fluids, our yin and yang. I'm going to talk about some causes of self-health issues with examples, and then I'm going to give some solutions to those problems. So this transition period can be done in a healthy way, or you can have a sub-health status. It's normal to have this begin earlier or later based on your family inheritance and when you started your period, your menstrual cycle. So if you started younger, you'll probably go through this transition period younger. Very, very normal. If it's earlier, right, than what you've seen in your family, away from the genetic condition, and you're having symptoms much, much earlier in your 30s. We see women going gray in their 30s, some even younger, women having heavy clotting earlier in their 30s. That's letting you, that's a symptom. Those are signs that something's not right, that you need to address it. And it's called a quasi-healthy state when you're feeling okay, things look okay, but you might have chronic fatigue. You might be noticing more depression, fibromyalgia, some obesity, all of these problems are like, hey, there's something not going on. You're on this verge of getting sub-health, and that sub-health state leads to chronic disease, and we don't want that. So sub-health, you're at this juncture now where you've had symptoms, you've had cues and clues, and now you got to make some choices. You can really turn away, find this turning point, which is why Sonal's whole summit here is so great, because you are ready for this turning point. You can either return to optimal health or you degenerate into bad health. That's where you find cancer. That's where you find chronic illness, chronic pain, all sorts of things that are just kind of very, very hard to return from that state. So we're really going to focus on why this sub-health and how do we get you back. So there are several ways to slow the process of plummeting into bad health, right? You're catching this sub-health early, this anti-aging goal we have. So we have to look at a few things. One is your body constitution. You are born and through your lifestyle choices enhance or reduce a state of health based on your constitution, kind of body type, if you will. And on my website, Sonal will have that. I have a free test that you can take that lets you know what body type are you. The picture here is someone who is in a qi deficiency state where they don't have enough energy. Their body type is a little bit weaker. And so we want to work with that body type to know, what do we eat? How do we exercise for this body type? The example I always love to give is, they say blueberries are healthy, but blueberries aren't healthy for every body constitution. Meat isn't healthy for every body constitution. Tomatoes aren't. So what does your body constitution need to be healthy? Then the next one is living in harmony with the seasons. Many people, many clients I work with, many of my students, they think that I should eat the same foods all year. I should exercise the same all year. And that puts you into a depleted state. For example, in the summer, you should not exercise to the point of sweating. If you sweat when you're already sweating from the heat, you're giving up your life essence, which makes you age faster, which gives you this sub-health state. And then living in harmony with local conditions. If you're in a very hot, humid climate, you're going to want to eat different foods, exercise in different ways versus if you live in a very cold climate. So knowing where you live, what the seasons are, and what your body type is, boom, you can slow down the aging and reduce these negative, harmful effects, these perimenopausal symptoms you might be experiencing. As I mentioned in the earlier part, talking with Sonal about yin and yang, is that we need to ultimately focus on bringing our body into this beautiful balance. We want our bodies to be not too warm, not too cold, not too much fluid, not too much dryness, not too much activity, not too much rest. Too much of anything is where the problems arise. When we know our body, we know how to read our body, we can bring balance, which brings us health. So for example, we need to look at internal and external. When our energy goes out into the world in the summer, that's very external. We're joyful, we're with family, we're outside. Whereas in the winter, we want to draw in, we want to calm and nestle and snuggle and draw that energy inward to get ready for the growth of spring. We don't want our hormone levels too high or low or in a disordered state. And in Chinese medicine, that's calmed by the organs being in balance. The endocrine system is really part of the overall entire organ system, keeping everything balanced. And then we want our body fluids. If we don't have enough body fluids, we won't have menstrual cycles. If we have too much body fluid and blood, but we're not keeping our digestion strong, we'll have clotting and bleeding too long. If we have stagnation, we'll feel too cold, we'll feel depressed. So we need to have this balance in order to be in our optimal health state. Here are the primary causes in the Western lifestyle for these problems. When we get overtired, we just go, 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 go. And many women, that's just what our lives demand, whether we have to work a job, and as well as care for the home, or we just have expectations that are put upon us. We don't sleep well. That is really a huge, huge factor, a trigger. Stress. You might not be overtired, but you might constantly be in this high level of expectation. And that affects your adrenal glands, which affects your kidneys. They're part of the same system, your urinary bladder. And this stress level will then ultimately deplete what we call your Jing essence, your life force. Imagine you're born with a bank account of life. And to that bank account, we can add food and air, but the initial money that's there, we can't add any more. So if we don't breathe deeply and exercise well, and we don't eat well, we're just going to be drawing down on that bank account, and stress goes right to that initial store of Jing, of life essence. So it's probably one of the most harmful things, and Western medicine is catching up with this idea, right? They're looking at all the diseases that are stress related. Absence of your period or abnormal flow is a symptom as well as a cause, right? The more we don't attend to it, the more we see that we're not cleansing our body, purifying our body with this very normal cycle. A normal cycle should be 4 days of bleeding, a beautiful, rich blood, not scanty, not dark, just a beautiful, rich blood for 4 days. And each woman's cycle could go within 3 to 6 days on that, but that's the range. And then it could be anywhere from 25 to 30-day cycle. So if you're not having that, you're not cleansing the body as it needs to. And then the hair graying or falling out is really more of a symptom, but that's telling you your kidneys are weak. So it's really an example of what you feel and what causes that. So here are just these other ideas of causes. This aging is just a cause. We get older, our Jing essence is less, and therefore we're going to have symptoms of aging. We want to reduce those and offset those by eating well and sleeping well and exercising well, and we're just going to get older. So don't let that one stress you. If you get everything else in balance, that's just part of life. Lack of sleep is huge. When you don't sleep well, it's related often to what you are or are not eating, as well as to your heart. When we have insomnia, if we can't fall asleep, that's definitely heart related. If we wake in the middle of the night between 11 and 1, that's your gallbladder. Between 1 and 3, that's your liver. And between 3 and 5, those are your lungs. So if you're waking and staying awake during those times, that lets you know your internal organ systems are not functioning well. Burnout and overuse. If we exercise too hard, think too much, read too much, anything that we do too much of is going to lead to some of the symptoms that we saw on the previous page. Too much stress in your life, again, is going to be a factor. And then if your lifestyle, your diet and sleep are out of balance, if you go to bed after 11 o'clock, your body can't heal. Between 11 to 5 is the most important time to sleep. And if you're up during that time, your body can't detoxify because your gallbladder, liver, and lungs clear your body of toxins. If you're awake during those hours, they can't do their work. So that's a huge thing. We don't exercise, we don't walk, we don't do qigong or yoga. We don't eat at regular hours, and we don't eat balanced diets. We have very specific times in Chinese medicine when you need to eat. There's a body clock, and if we don't follow that, for example, if we don't eat breakfast, our stomach, our digestion is incredibly weak, and we have problems for our gallbladder and can get gallbladder cancer and problems. If we don't eat lunch, we'll have heart and circulation problems between 11 to 1, and breakfast is 7 to 9. And if we don't eat dinner, or if we eat too much dinner too late, then we're going to have problems with the body. We need an intermittent fast between 7 at night and 7 in the morning to be healthy. So these things make you unhealthy. And In the Western medical model, when we look at the problems, they label it digestive system, nervous system, circulatory system, you know, all of these. They're looking at just each one of these as an isolated system. They're going to say your perimenopausal symptoms are related to your endocrine system. That's it. What are your hormones doing? Take this hormone, do this. And in Chinese medicine, however, we don't say that. We are looking at the organ systems that are all interrelated and interconnected. We then take this information and say, where is the imbalance? So for example, if you, as I mentioned earlier, having too much bleeding, we're going to look at your spleen, stomach, and pancreas system, which is related to the digestive system in the West. And we're going to say, yeah, that is because the spleen holds the blood in the vessels. If you have prolapsed uterus, that's also could be related because this prolapsed uterus, the spleen holds the body parts where they belong. So it's really important to pay attention to what the symptom is. If you are experiencing a lot of the perimenopausal symptom of anger, irritation, frustration, that's your liver. And that anger, when you don't attend to it, turns into depression. So we're looking at systemically, how are we going to help you heal these internal systems so you get rid of the symptoms? And so I'm going to give you some examples of what we do. Let's say, for example, you're not having your period. We would look at and say, okay, you are missing some critical food. You're missing some of the nourishing things that you need to do to have enough blood and let a lining develop around the uterus and let that lining then be able to slough off at the right time. And so we would look at specific herbs and foods you could take. So for example, this absence of period is blood stagnation. The blood isn't flowing. It's not able to build this lining. And so we want the blood to move. And that would be angelica, safflower, and mustard seed are all things that we would prescribe to help you overcome that stagnation. Another example of what we would prescribe, for example, would be different foods that help with overall anti-aging, that we want to make sure that you are nourishing the blood and nourishing the organs. So great foods include, you know, different roots. Astragalus root is so great for the kidneys. Ginseng is great for overall elevation of the energy. Ginkgo nuts, pumpkin seeds, pistachios I've pictured here. These all work on at a very deep root level. So when you think, we all in Chinese medicine, all food is medicine. They've had that saying since back 3,000 years ago. When you eat, you are nourishing the body in specific ways. And so these are the foods we would recommend. 2 teas are also incredibly powerful for this anti-aging effect, pu'er tea and green tea. Now, green tea, you would only take in the summer and spring, or if you lived in a very hot climate year-round. It is very cooling in nature, and so people who are cold or have cold extremities, green tea would be bad for them. But pu'er tea, you would want to take in the winter or the fall when it's cooler. So these things are very important in Chinese medicine, the energetics about what foods and herbs do for your body. And then lastly, we would look at acupuncture and acupressure massage, which includes qigong to clear the stagnation, to calm the mind, to get rid of the effects of stress, to let you sleep. And for example, there's a point here. If you put your fingertips right above the tops of your ears, lift the fingers up till they touch in the middle, and then feel around for what we call a reaction point, a little tenderness. This is what we call the Baihui point, or the governing vessel 20. And this point here, you can tap it, you can massage it, and this is incredible for letting the energy flow down. At night, you focus on it flowing down for sleep. And during the day, you focus on the energy flowing up to here for mental clarity. When you clear stagnation, the qi will do what it needs to do, depending on the time of day. If you went to an acupuncturist, they would put needles in different parts of your body after they felt your pulse, looked at your tongue, and asked you about your sleep. your bowel movements, your urination, your mood, your diet. They want to know holistically, what are you experiencing right now? And then they would create a pattern of needles for you that would help clear the stagnation and heal the organs. So the idea is you are a beautiful, whole, energetic system that when you do different types of exercise, massage, acupuncture, and that also includes cupping and moxibustion, things like that, and you eat and live in harmony with the seasons, everything balances. And the symptoms that we isolate in the West, well, I've got this and this, I've got this blood symptom, I've got this gallbladder pain, I've got this kidney pain, those all come together. And when they are all healed, you're going to live a long, beautiful life with very minimal perimenopause or menopause symptoms, and just a wonderful energy to bring to yourself and others. So that is what I have to share, Sonal.
Okay, it was amazing. I just made a few notes, you know.
Yeah, great.
I mean, I never heard about this pure tea. What is that pure tea?
Wait, what did you say?
Pure tea. P-U-E-R.
Oh, Pu-R-T. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pu-R. So Pu, just think of it as P-O-O-R.
Okay.
And
Pure
so
tea.
Pu-R-T, yeah, I have a shop and I sell it. So Pu-R-T is a fermented black tea. It's highly prized in China. In fact, it's one of the most special teas. I also have another one called Da Hong Pao, but Pu-R is the best. Pu-R-T goes through a fermenting process, and from this fermenting process, it gives it the energetic property to really come in and work on the kidneys. And the kidneys, again, are that seat of life, right? That life Jing essence. And so it helps them do their job more effectively. And it makes sure that you don't have to use that original essence, that you are helping the kidneys do their day-to-day functions, so you can take more qi from the food that you eat and the air that you breathe, so you can have more energy and not have to deplete your body system. So that's how the Pu-R-T works.
Is it advisable? Is it advisable for somebody with urinary incontinence issues?
Yeah, so urinary incontinence is really, again, related to kidney health. So I would caution, if somebody has a huge problem with it, they should definitely talk to a TCM doctor first, right? Like, just get a sense. But remember, the caffeinated teas are about, like 60% less of the caffeine than you'll have in a cup of coffee. And you don't have to do a lot. So for example, you would use like 3 grams or a teaspoon, less than a teaspoon, 3 to 5 grams is about a teaspoon. So a little less than a teaspoon of tea. You would let it steep, and you're only going to have like just a small cup. So dosage really matters, right? Like, we go overboard in everything in the West. So a very small goes a long way. And so if you did it once a week, you're going to get a huge benefit. And believe it or not, it should stop your urinary incontinence, because you're strengthening your kidney and bladder system.
But I need to figure out, where can I find it?
Yeah. Oh, where you are. Yeah, you can definitely. I know there are people that ship abroad. I'm sure there's got to be someone where you're located. I'm sure there has to be people that have it. Do you guys have an Amazon there? We have look on Amazon. Look for it on Amazon. It's also known as.
First time I'm hearing about it. I never heard about Pu-R-T.
Yeah, the other tea is Bolay. I mean, there's so much I could have talked about. Sonal, I could have talked about rosebud tea. Chrysanthemum. I mean, there's so much.
Yeah.
But look at also BOLAY. So it's PU-ER, or even sometimes they'll have ERH and they'll have it without the dash. Or you can look at Bolay, BOLAY. That's the same tea.
Okay, I will find it. I'm sure it is available, because Chinese medicine is so common. It's not something.
I'm sure. Exactly. The other thing is, look, for you, black sesame seeds and toasted walnuts are really good for the kidneys and the bladder. Just watch if it's too hot. You might not want to do it every day, or you might want to balance it out with just think for, like cucumbers, celery, lightly sauteed cucumbers and celery really good to balance out the, yeah.
Celery plus cucumber.
Yeah. But black sesame seeds and walnuts are great for your kidneys. Really good.
Black sesame seeds also toasted?
Yes, also toasted. Yep, both of them toasted. Yeah, 350. So just about a tablespoon of each.
Okay,
so that would be, sorry, for grams, that would be like 12 grams.
Oh, that's very little, huh?
Yeah, you don't need a lot. You know, for the walnuts, you might go to 20 grams, but you don't need a lot of that. That's what people don't realize. Like they go so much, like goji berries, wolfberries are very good for the skin, but you literally need 7 to 10. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people will eat a handful. And it's like almonds. They'll be eating almonds all day. And it's like, no, you just need very, very little. That's why they get out of balance, because they're eating too much of these foods.
Yeah. So Julie, as part of Summit package, I mean VIP package, you are also offering TCM face reading for our VIP audience.
Yeah.
And this is like something new to me and very interesting. And I wonder, like, what can we find out about ourselves from this reading, and how can we use it further?
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to open up just a page so I can kind of show you some of the benefits. I think it'll be really helpful to have a visual here. So with face reading, it is the kind of face reading I do for Chinese medicine face reading is I focus on the social emotional face reading. There is health reading, and I do invite you to talk to a practitioner about that. So why do you have a face reading? So one of the things is we get habits. Why do we do things over and over and over again? React to people a certain way, react to a situation, eat the same food, exercise or not. And so through a face reading, you can find the innate balance between your mind, your emotions, and your actions and intuition. So we uncover, why do you get stuck? So that's one part. So this is really about gaining insight into your behavior. You know, why do people from the past continue to influence you? How can you then use this change to influence others, to be a more positive force? And then really, we want to stop destructive habits, right? What are we doing that is giving us, and we might not even think it's destructive. We might think, oh, we're doing something good for ourselves. And then we read our face and we're like, oh, wow, I never realized that's why I feel that way. And so it's super helpful to do that. And within the process, you will first send me photos. And based on those photos, I'll be looking at the eyes, the forehead, the nose, the mouth. For example, your nose talks about money. How are you, what is your relationship with money? Do you overspend? Do you not spend? When you need to make a big purchase, are you too afraid? Your earlobes will talk to me about your future. When in your life do you come into your power, right? Like, so all of these different faces, what does the mouth tell me about? Are you a giver? Will you let yourself receive? Are you selfish? Do you need to open up more? So all of the face will talk about that. And then, so you'll send me pictures, I'll analyze the face, and then we have a one-on-one meeting. And it just allows you to find this joy and ease. And you can see I have a client experience. She talked about that. There's definitely some views. And so it's very reliable. This is a method that's been honed over thousands of years, and really the last few hundred years in particular. And my clients are like, how did you know that? How did you know that about me? And it's because it's very accurate. And then again, you'll use it to get unstuck. You'll use it to change patterns, and you'll use it to know yourself. And all of this is social, emotional, money, finances, the future, the past, love. All of this is revealed. And most importantly, it's super fun. It's just like,
it sounds fun to me. I mean, I'm excited for myself. But the question is, like, do you help them resolve the issues you find in them? Yeah, so I will give them guidance that they could then go to a counselor. I will recommend a food, like if I think they need to do a food plan, if I think there's something going on there, I can recommend they do that. And then I definitely recommend meditation and qigong videos I've created. So
specifically based on what you see. If you're dealing with grief, for example, grief is tied to the lungs. And so the lungs and the large intestine, interestingly. And so I'll recommend qigong that you can do for that to
And
overcome.
when you are saying that, I do feel that my lungs, I feel constricted, and also I feel some issue in my large intestine because I'm observing myself.
Interesting. Good for you. That intuition is so powerful. Look at you.
Yesterday
I
only I got that insight that I have some issue with my large intestine.
Yeah.
How unbelievable.
So unbelievable. It's amazing. And this is, everybody can do that as you evolve. Everybody, like, they're already evolving. They're here with you. They're watching this summit. These intuitions come, what you always knew. Your body is your partner. One of my saddest moments is when people hate their bodies. They're like, my body is my enemy. Even people with cancer, I'm like, people who are fighting and overcome. I have a dear friend who overcame horrible, very rare form of lymphoma in her spine. And she was battling against her body. And then when she started realizing, wait, my body's helping me, I'm healing, I'm getting better, her life changed. It wasn't her against the body. It was her with her body. And everything became possible. Your body loves you. Dr. John, my mentor, who helped with this presentation, in fact, and helped teach me all of this and said, please spread it to the world. She said, every time you touch your body, eat a food that is good for your body, and love your body, like, the acupressure massage is what she meant by the touch. Your body is so joyful and will go to the ends of the earth for you. So, yeah,
it's like accepting your body. Actually, we need to understand that this is all we got.
Oh, it's the gift of what we've got. It's not all we've got. It is who we are. It is what we are. And it's beautiful. No matter what it's doing for you right now, your soul is beautiful and your body is beautiful. And you two can work together. You are one, but it's sometimes helpful to separate it, right? Like to think of, I'm this conscious energy working with this unconscious body energy, and we just need to communicate together. But it's like conscious, like you said, you were tuned into your lungs and large intestine. It was communicating with you. So we just have to listen.
Yeah, as long as we are alive, it's conscious,
Yes,
so it's not
exactly.
different from your soul.
Exactly. And I just, and that's why I tried to say that, like, we are one. It's just, we don't always think of it that way. I mean, it's hard to process that oneness, very difficult.
So, in any case, if our audience, they want to check the complete details of Juli's offer, please check out the link given below this video. And I would say amazing explanation of balancing our body following the principles of TCM by Juli. And thank you so much for joining us and sharing the wisdom of Chinese medicine for easing the sub-health symptoms during perimenopause. It was really, really enlightening experience, I will say, and I love the moves of qigong. I want to try.
Good.
And so I would say I learned a lot, and I'm looking forward for face reading. And I'm sure our audience are going to take benefit of this free opportunity. It's a kind of free, it's part of VIP package. So they are getting so many gifts. So they should take this package.
Oh. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely should take the package. I know they're going to get so many wonderful things. And I'm so excited to meet the people that are in your community and to be of service to them. I'm super excited for that opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sonal. All right.